So I got this question from a subscriber. Basically, how do you handle custom subdomains in a Rails app in both local development and in production? And so we're going to take a look at that today. The first thing I've done here is set up a brand new Rails app. And what we're going to do first of all is start off by generating a model. So we're going to say Rails generate model team, and teams are going to have a name and a subdomain. And if we go in here, we'll just make both of these required. And we'll run the migrations. The next thing that we are going to do is we're going to generate a pages controller. So we're going to say Rails G controller pages, and that will have a dashboard. And then if we go into our roots, we can say root to pages dashboard, and we'll save that. And now if we reload, we've got pages dashboard. The next thing we want to look at is adding a method to our team to find them. So we're going to paste some code in here and I'll talk you through it. So this is called find by request, and we'll pass in the Rails request object. The first thing we're going to do is check the host, and if it is localhost or in Grok or the default Heroku app domain, we are going to look up the team. I think I actually called this subdomain, so we'll change that. We're going to look up the team by parameter for username, and if the host is our production domain, i.e. not one of the following, then we're going to find the team by the actual subdomain on the production domain. So we're going to hit save on that, and that gives us a way to look up our team. The next thing I'm going to do is set up a root constraint that will find the team and just make sure that a team actually exists. So if we do this by going into our lib folder, we'll create a new folder called root constraints, and then we'll create a file called teamexists.rb, and I'm just going to paste in the content here. And this root constraint then takes a matches method and returns true or false to that. So it's then calling our team method find by request and the current request. So we'll save that. Go back to our roots file, and then we can say require relative, and we can go up a level into lib, root constraints and team exists, and hit save. The next thing then we're going to do is replace our root2 code with the following, and we've got our username param, and we're using our root constraint here. So we're going to hit save, reload our localhost, and we get loader. Oh, and I have put an underscore here instead of a forward slash, so we'll reload this, and as you can see, we get the Rails welcome page because we aren't going into this username scope. So the first thing we'll do is like say bad for the team name, and we can go in here and we get a 404 because when our root constraint returns false, this root is never even set up. So this kind of just protects all of our roots from ever having an issue where the team doesn't exist or can't be loaded and whatnot. So this just makes sure that the team, if the team's not in the database, the roots won't even load. That's 404, which is good behavior. The next thing we're going to do is pull up console and create a team. So I'm going to say team.create, and we'll say name is Pete, and subdomain will also just be Pete. So that's created. And now if I go over here and I say Pete, and you'll now see that our homepage loads. So this is great for the localhost style development, and obviously you could have other pages underneath this, all of your application routes underneath this, and be able to load those up. When you're in production then, what you will actually want is, let's say your domain is site.com, you will want pete.site.com to then load, and then basically we can replace our username with anything. So we could replace it just with app, and then that will take us to the home page. So then any routes you've got nested underneath that will work and load, and it'll be using the subdomain. But obviously on localhost and all, we then just use this little part of the URL to load that up. So that's one approach I've used in the past when it comes to subdomains, and I've found that to be quite useful. Obviously you might not want this app portion in the domain, you might just want the domain to be something along those lines. That is something you can configure as well. You can set a scope to optionally take a parameter. However, I don't really mind just putting in that placeholder and making it easy to work across local production and all those places. So I hope that was useful, and hope it answered the question. Please let me know in the comments if there's any more questions around this topic, and like and subscribe if you found this interesting and want to see more. Cheers.